Hidden history, the secrets of Hot Springs Village. Hot Springs Village is the world's largest gated community. 26,000 acres, 520 miles of roads in 2 different counties. But behind these gates lie secrets that most residents, even some locals, have never even heard of. From the underwater town to the frontier outlaw who plowed his fields with a .45 Colt in his belt. We start by looking at Lake Cortez. To the casual boater, it's a paradise. But sitting at the bottom of this lake is a ghost town, a 19th century grist mill and post office that were swallowed by the water when the dam was built. This area was once the gateway to the Dark Corner, a place where the law ended and the wilderness began. Nothing proves that more than what you'll find on Cortez Road. Right in the middle of the pavement sits a roadside grave. At the turn of the century, a young man died of rabies and was buried on his family's farm atop this beautiful hill. He couldn't be carried down to town to be buried because of a massive flood of the middle fork of the Saline River. Much like today, the fickle Saline has her way every time. Decades later, when Cooper Communities was carving out these roads, they couldn't get permission to move him. So they did the only thing they could. They paved the road right around him. Thousands of people drive past this pioneer every day, oblivious to what lies beneath their wheels. The north-central section of Hot Springs Village wasn't always manicured greens and cul-de-sacs. Long before the gates went up, it was the Dark Corner. It was rugged, no man's land, and a shadow of limestone, and a territory of lawlessness, high-proof moonshine where authorities didn't dare to tread without an invitation or an army. It was a sanctuary for men like Jesse Simpson. Legend says Simpson was a man looking for a place for when the past wouldn't catch him. Pursued by the Texas Ranger for manslaughter in Austin, he fled across the state line, disappearing into the isolated community of Baudre, what we now know as the Dark Corner, a settlement sitting right on top of our modern-day doorstep. For 20 years, Jesse lived the life of a high-tension defiance. He was a mountain patriarch who plowed his fields with a mule and a .45 Peacemaker tucked into his waistband, never a holster. He didn't carry it just for show. He was waiting for the silhouette of a Texas Ranger to appear on the ridgeline at any time. In the Dark Corner, silence was the local currency. Your neighbors didn't ask about your past, and the Marbell Baptist Church stood alone, a fragile anchor of morality in a very wild territory. While the rest of the world moved to the 20th century, Baudre Woods remained a stronghold for white lightning so potent that even Al Capone's men were rumored to have made the trek from downtown Hot Springs just to sample some of the Dark Corner corn. Jesse Simpson, by the way, died peacefully of old age with that 45 near his hand. A final relic of time when the North Woods were the kingdom unto themselves, long before the first tee-off. Water is the lifeblood of our 11 lakes and 9 golf courses. On the north side, Mill Creek flows in, filling Lake DeSoto before pouring over the spillway into Lake Cortez, right over that underwater grist mill, and back into the middle fork of the Saline River. On the south side, Cedar Creek feeds Lake Pinata and Lake Coronado, and eventually filling Lake Balboa. It's a massive engineering feat just to keep the 18,000 members in a lush green paradise. Managing the 34,000 home sites across this territory is a job for experts, like Janae Cook. Don't delay, call Janae. They're so vital, they don't see just lots, they see how the flow of the land and the history of the community. The protected pristine. The legacy of the wild isn't entirely lost to development. In a nod to the land's rugged roots, Cooper Communities deeded a massive tract of land in this territory to the Nature Conservancy, creating the John and Mildred Cooper Nature Preserve. Encompassing more than 120 acres of the village dedicated green space, it isn't your typical manicured park. This is a 26,000-acre community's backyard, protecting the ancient, winding shores of the middle fork of the Saline River. While the official maps mark out roughly 3.5 miles of managed paths, the experience is pure primitive Arkansas. The Cooper Loop serves as the preserve's central artery, a 1.4-mile trek that bleeds into the Saline River Loop, offering raw, direct access to the riverbanks where outlaws once watered their horses. For those looking to climb, the Piney Woods Loops winds through the upland, rising over 180 feet above the valley floor. If you're looking to find it, the trailhead hides off Roscoe Drive, just north of Granada, accessible via Vigoroso or Looser Lane. It's a rougher experience than the paved trails of the village, a place where a native tree marker reminds you of the forest age, and the primitive, natural surface terrain reminds you that you are still in the dark corner. Nature still holds the upper hand. Whether you're hiking with a leashed companion or seek the solitude of the river, the Cooper Preserve is a living piece of wilderness that Jesse Simpson one time called home. And then there's Lake Lago, our emergency vault. It's completely restricted from public use, hidden underneath are large springs, but its real power is a remote pumping station on the Saline River, designed over 50 years ago. It can pull 1 million gallons a day to ensure the village never goes dry. Mr. Cooper designed this system to support the 66,000 potential residents, more than triple our current population, just in case he was building for the future he might never see. The experiment. Hot Springs Village spans 2 counties, Garland, home to National Park and the National Forest, and the Saline to the northeast. It's the only Cooper community completely gated. It started as an experiment in 1970 to see if people would really value their total privacy. 55 years later, at a very low crime rate and high property values, proved the experiment worked. In the early days, the West Gate closed at 10 p.m. If you weren't in, you were locked out unless you could find a phone and call a friend. Today, the West Gate is manned 24/7, 365, the only one of our 7 access points that never sleeps. It's a commitment to the security that makes this place a fortress of tranquility. Supporting the infrastructure takes a community that Ike Eisenhower and his team have been paying for and ensuring for years. Ensuring the vision Mr. Cooper brought here in 1970 continues to thrive today. Hot Springs Village is more than a gated community. It's a 55-year-old masterpiece of engineering and mystery. If you enjoyed these secrets, hit the subscribe button. We have 50 plus more shows coming your way from the dark woods of the National Forest that you don't want to miss. I'm Dennis Simpson, and we'll see you behind the gates. Not be telling you where the water pickup station is. I will not tell you how to get there. I will not tell you even anywhere it's close to. But I will tell you that I could not be more proud of our POA employees who take this trek every time they come out to the water treatment plant. This trek and much more that I will not share with you. The water treatment plant about 2 years ago was struck by lightning and flooded at the same time. The POA put out responses to try and get people to make proposals. No one even wanted to go to it. No one wanted to try and get the big trucks that it would take and the wiring to replace the transformers or anything. This all fell to our POA.
Just a sec.
And now, Mr. Jason.
Get my feet up here. And if you'll start talking.
So this is the middle of Fort Creek, and Hot Springs Village, we own a quarter mile up and downstream, approximately 300 feet on each side of this to protect this area from anything going on. And this is where the water, drinking water, comes from for the Hot Springs Village. We pump it over to Lake Lago from here. And this is our pump intake structure on the middle of Fort Creek.
As you can see, and as Jason was just saying, the water just flows over the low water dam here that they have. It is a fantastic facility that Cooper built decades ago.
Those are U.S. waters, but we own the surface area.
Interesting. He was just telling me that the water is owned by the United States government, and we own the surface area.
That's water of the U.S. too.
So it's just 2 or 3 feet deep there.
Yeah. So there's a valve there that we could drain the upper side of it if we needed to clean it out, which we do. We need to come in and dig it all out. We'll probably do that next summer.
Next, I have left portions of this video and audio intact to show you the absolute scale and magnitude of what they did and what is involved. And it is, listener be warned, loud. It is very loud. These are the pumps that pick up water all day long. We're about to go inside the building here, and this is just the low water dam where the water is picked up from. And I'll let the noise do the rest. As Jason mentioned in my last show, these are non-binary pumps. The last pumps they had would only kick on or off. These pumps can run at different degrees. Imagine if your car only ran full tilt or off, and that's how the old pumps ran. These new pumps are graduated. They can run from 0 to 100 and any degree in between. And a few minutes inside that room and you'll understand why you don't want to be there very long. This pristine, protected waterway is the middle fork of the Saloon River, which is absolutely beautiful. The water is picked up from this location and shipped, I won't tell you how far, but it goes down to Lake Lago and it replenishes Lake Lago. We'll see an intake structure at Lake Lago in just a minute. This is the water treatment plant built by Cooper and remodeled by the POA, completely updated and computerized in just the last few years. You're going to see these tanks a few times over. These are clarification settling tanks. The water is pulled directly out of Lake Lago through the tower assembly that we talked about in the last show, and it's brought out slowly and let settle into these tanks. So any solids or leaves or anything that would be of any significant mass has already been filtered out well before it would get here. Then it falls out of this little trough. You'll see it falls into the trough, which is aerating it also. And then the water simply comes out of the middle section. A very impressive site, and as clean and as well kept as I've seen. It's very, very, very impressive. That's the rest of the treatment facility that we'll be in just a few minutes. That's the surge tank that holds water to make sure there's not a surge into the water treatment plant, which would be a bad thing. There's Jason, one of the employees, who was very, very, very knowledgeable. There are there's the geese down on the lake that we would rather not have them there, but everything gets filtered out. Once again, these are the large settling tanks. That's Macero up on the ridge right there behind you. Here's where the water comes flowing out. Honestly, right now, it looks pretty good. Heck, it looked good before it even came in the tower. Beautiful, beautiful, pristine water. And this operates 24 hours a day. They're filtering and settling out the water all the time. This is one of the treatment facilities where they add the chemicals, anything that they need to add to the water. It comes right through here. Obviously, chlorine is a caustic, so that's one of the many things you'd see in the room here. And here's me doing the water treatment issue again here, and just looking at the filtering tanks. Again, a marvel. These are very impressive. And again, this was all computerized in just the last few years when we did a major upgrade on the water treatment plant, knowing we were going to have to be prepared. This water treatment is theoretically designed, and the lake is designed to feed 66,000 people for up to 3 years. And as I mentioned earlier, the water treatment, or the pickup station that you saw a few minutes ago, was completely out of operation for about 11 months, and you didn't even know it. Now, this is the settling pond. This is one of the more interesting places I've seen. At the very bottom of here is clay and charcoal. And the charcoal, obviously, you know, if you've filtered water with charcoal, it activates anything. Activated charcoal filters out any impurities. But there's clay and sand, and the water literally settles down through the bottom of this layer and is drawn out as imagine it's a huge filter that just comes right back down through the bottom of the building, or through the structure. Now we're going to go into the pump facility, which was impressive in itself, and it will be loud again in just a moment. This is the control center. This was all computerized not too long ago. You'll notice there's a little stainless steel computer console, and yes, you can run it there, or you can see the entire flow. It's all computerized. We know how many gallons are going through, what kind of treatment they need, what the surge is, what the temperature of the water is. It's all on the computer right there. Now, I'm not going to show you a long picture of that because of security reasons. It could be a threat. Once again, here's one of the consoles. And we're working at the console, figuring out what the temperature of the water is, how much chlorine needs to be added or deleted. This is the most impressive part of the tour by far and away to me. This is an older building. There's 2 faucets right here. Notice closely. Look very closely at those faucets. I didn't think anything about it. This is just a regular lab. They measure turbidity. They measure any resident minerals that may be. But the one on the right comes directly out of the lake. The one on the left has already been treated. You tell me which one has been treated and which one's coming straight out of the lake. Now we're in the pump facility, as you can tell, and this is a very loud place. This is what pumps every gallon of water to all of Hot Springs Village. This is the overflow sludge pond. If they make an accident and they have too much water or too much treatment, they can actually go back in and just dump that water out. It's like a quick release, and it just goes into the septic system. And this is all of the water for all of the village, all 15,000 residents and 26,000 acres and dozens of miles of piping are all run and controlled from this facility right here. I hope that you'll join me in our appreciation, applause, and thanks to our dedicated POA workers who make this happen every day, whether you get to see behind the doors or not. Thanks for watching Village Venues. Don't delay. Call Janae. Janae Cook, Taylor Realty, 501-617-9747. Whether you're buying, selling, or just considering. Oh, we don't need a realtor yet. Yes, you do. Don't delay. Call Janae. 501-617-9747. Call 501-922-9259. Joanna Horton at M-Force Capital. She can offer a complimentary financial evaluation planning session just for you and your needs. Once again, 501-922-9259. And literally like your good neighbor, Ike Eisenhower, your State Farm agent. Your good neighbor is there. 501-984-4100. The Home Plate Cafe and Bakery. Great home cooking and an amazing bakery located just outside the gates of Hot Springs Village. 501-984-6969 or go through the drive-thru. The Midnight Tavern, Hot Springs Village only late night place that stays open till 2 a.m. Great music, amazing drinks, and Chef Jonna cooking for you every night. At 110 Colella Drive, Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, just across from the Shell. Call for information at 501-226-0078, 501-226-0078, or check them out on Facebook with all the latest entertainment. And by Domino's Pizzas, West and upcoming East. That's right, Domino's Pizza will have an East location mid-2026. Great food, great service, and great 501-915-9595. 501-915-9595.
KVRE at 92.9 and streaming worldwide on iHeartRadio. KVRE is your family-owned local hometown radio station, so be sure and tune in for live local programming, news, sports, and information every day at 92.9. HSV Radio. HSV Radio is heard every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. or streaming on any of the major platforms. Hot Springs Village Radio is an eclectic mix of music, motivation, great music history, and Saturday morning fun. Join us every Saturday morning at 9 a.m., 92.9. Hot Springs Village only short-term rental with over 2,100 five-star reviews. All properties are lakefront. They include complimentary kayaks, hot tub, pet-friendly, and a stunning view of the lake. Visit DD Village Prop today for your vacation getaway.